You can ignore everything on here, all the contact stuff and feedback and definitely not licensing, and create design for social media post or photo collage online. So we're going to go right down here to create design. Okay, and we're going to get into some of these ideas later as far as templates that we can use, but we want to just work with an empty canvas. They give us lots of different choices as far as template size. We're going to go with a simple A4, which is kind of like just a regular 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. Alright, it's loading up, and in this demo what I want to do is just kind of show you some of the tools and how we're going to get started making a vector robot. So here are all of the shapes, the preset shapes, and I'm going to go with just some of the basic geometric shapes. I'm going to start out with just a square. All right. And when you bring up this window, the square window, this shape, it gives us all these choices up above. Okay, so I can double click here. Now in vectors you have a choice between two color formats. Okay, not really color formats. Let's just go with two choices. Right? There's the fill. Okay, that's the inside of this shape, and then the stroke is the line around the shape. All right, so the fill we're going to make, I don't know, we're going to go with yellow. Okay, the stroke we're going to make it black so you can kind of see it. So if I click off, it's still really light. You see, it's 0 for the stroke, meaning there is no line. But let's say I put a 1 here, okay, and now it has a very light black line around it. So I can go back and select. It's not selected anymore. I clicked off of it. To select it, I just click on it, and I decided that I'm going to go with, let's try 10, all right, and see how that looks. All right, now I've got a distinct line, a stroke around here, and again, I have clicked off of the shape. To select it, I need to click back on, and it gives me these tools again. A great thing about this program is if I hover over any of the tools, the icons here, it tells me what that tool is. All right, so the way I learn best on software, once I have the basic idea of kind of how it works, this is a canvas, okay, these are the tools that I'm going to be able to use. All right, and then once I click on a tool, it gives me specifics along the top. Once I learn the basic idea of the software, it's just a great way is just to go and play. Try everything out. You're not going to break it. All right, so I'm going to try right here stroke style. All right, I have a 10 here. Let's try different ones. I'm not sure really what some of these do. Let's go with a dotted line. All right, and if I hate that, I made a mistake. All right, all I need to do is Command Z, and it takes it right away. Okay, Command Z, or if you want to, you can use these arrows up above. Okay, there, it undoes my action. All right, so I'm back to my square. Now, all my tools went away. Oh wait, I've got to select this to have the tools. All right, so let's mess with the opacity here. I'm going to turn this down to, right around 50%. And I'm going to drop in a new shape. And I'm going to just go with a circle. All right. Now, my square is gone. It's because it's behind the circle. If we go over here and take a peek at layers, the circle is above the square. Okay, so if I drag it down below, now the circle is behind the square. Okay. But here's the weird thing. Remember when we made that transparent? Ooh, we're going to get an announcement here.
Renee Cressy, please call 2135.
Okay, so because this square is transparent now, when I move it, there it is yellow, transparent 50%. When I move it over the kind of the reddish circle, yellow and red make orange. Okay, because we can kind of see through it. It's like a piece of glass. All right, so I want to work on the circle, not the square. So I'm just going to click on it. I'm going to select it. All right, so here's the color fill. Here's the stroke. Here's the width of the stroke. So let's say I'm going to put a 5 there, and it's very light. Stroke style, there was different ones. We messed with opacity. the edit path. It gives us these little points on the path. So now I can kind of customize this so it's not just a circle. Now I'm really kind of messing around with what this is going to be. Maybe it's going to be, oh, I don't know, maybe they're going to be kind of horns or antenna. I'm not quite sure yet. But if I don't like it, I can always undo it, redo it, and that's it for the path. As soon as I click off of this, okay, let me go back. As soon as I click off of this, there we go. I'm going to drag in a new shape, and I can squish it this way. Now another thing you could do is you could have no fill, right? So I'm going to put a 5 on here, 5 stroke, and I'm going to let me make sure that there is a choice for this. This is transparent. I think that's what they mean by no. Now this is just it's a little bit different, folks, than the software that we usually use. So if I pause here and there, it's just because I've got to figure out how they've put it together. All right, now I want exactly the same thing over here. So what I should be able to do is Command C and Command V. There it goes. And I basically just copied and pasted it. So now I've got, I don't know, 2 arms or something coming out. And it's just a matter of like placing, getting it right. Let me try something new. Okay, yep, it does work this way. So if you use Command plus, okay, Command addition symbol, what it's doing is it's zooming in and in and in further and further. Okay, so that's one way to work. Let's see, let's modify something else. All right, I'm going to come back to this, and let's see, I edited the path, and we're going to walk through these slowly in class. I'm just going to give you the basics so you can watch through this between now and next week for remote students between now and next Wednesday, for A and B students next Thursday, Friday. If you see this beforehand, then when you come into class you've got a better handle on it. Okay, so a shadow. I'm going to drop a shadow on this, and we could change the color, but and I haven't tried this yet, so let's just try putting 20, and okay, there we go. So it gives this little drop shadow, and let's try 20 blur. All right, there you go. It fuzzes it up. So let me click off of this. So it looks like it's taking up space. Let's put that all the way to the top, and it really starts to look like it's overlapping, like it really takes up physical space and it's sitting on top of these other things. So this is where you could really start making parts, okay, that look like three-dimensional, like it is actually taking up space. I'm going to change this opacity back to the full 100%. Okay, and I don't like these pink rectangles now that I started messing with them, and so I can click on it and just hit delete, and it just knocks them out. Okay. But I do kind of like this idea so far. I've got some kind of, oh, I'm not sure yet. I'm going to change the stroke color, and I'm really making this up as I go along, folks. So there is, I don't know, it could be an eye, it could be some kind of mechanic poking out. Yeah, I like that better. Okay, so we could bring the shadow in a little bit tighter. It's just a matter of like trying some of these different ideas out and seeing what works. So I'm going to make this into kind of an angry robot by just turning this a bit. I'm going to put another one on the other side by Command C and Command V. There we go, it worked. And then I'm going to turn it this way. So now I've got, you know, the angry eyes on them. All right, so let's try something new. I'm going to drop in a new shape. Oh, let's go with a triangle because we haven't done that yet. And I'm just going to move it off to the side here because I'm just playing and I don't want to fuss up you know, what I've been working on. So we did shadow. Let's try an effect on this. Okay, so these are gradients, and gradients are great for, you know, giving your image depth. So if I click on this, all right, that's kind of cool. I'm going to stick with these greens and oranges, so I'm going to go with this. Right, and then there's patterns too. So you could drop in different patterns. One that looks kind of like wood or spirals, but I don't think I'm going to work with those right now. I'm just going to go with that gradient, and I click back on it, and I'm going to start messing around with this triangle. Now, I don't know, it's okay. I mean, I think I'm going to modify this a bit. And by modifying, it's just a triangle right now. I'm going to go back to that path. Oh, no, there it is. Edit path, and I'm going to kind of mess around with this a bit. Now we can add these things called points, and we can control it a lot more. But for right now, I'm trying some of these things out. So I'm going to do Command C and Command V. Oh, actually, add point. Okay, add point. Control left click. All right. Sorry, folks, I haven't done this part yet. I might skip this for right now because Shift delete point. Okay, we'll come back to points because I don't have the right kind of mouse for this right now. All right, let's put that off to the side for a moment. Okay, I'm going to click back on here and copy, paste, and I'm going to turn this inside out. Ready? I'm just stretching it out as soon as the computer catches up with me. I think you can turn it inside out. Maybe you can on this. Okay, so on Illustrator you can turn images inside out, but I think Cleverbrush is going to use this. It's flip horizontal. There we go. Okay, still have the same function. It's just it might be called something different, and it's good to use different types of software. Even you might prefer a particular one, but it's good to try different softwares out because software types out. Because if you go to work for a company, there's no guarantee that they're going to be using the software that you're most familiar with. So it's probably best practice to know a number of different types of software. So I'm just messing around with the movement. If I need to just move it a little bit, I can use the arrows. It's selected right now, and the arrows on my keyboard just moves it a little bit, so it gives you a little bit more accuracy as far as positioning your shapes. Okay, I'm going to go back to this green one because I'm going to try a couple more things out. Let's squish this, and let's do this other part here. I want to affect this whole robot right now. I'm just going to get rid of that part. So I'm going to click up above. I'm going to click and drag. And it's drawing this marquee box around the whole thing. What that has done is it's selected everything. Here's the layers. It selected everything on the screen so far. All right. And I can go through now. Give me a moment because I got to find it. It's a little different here. Image, vectors, icons, history. Somewhere in here we need to be able to smush these all together. I don't think it's create group, but let's see. Oh yes it is. Okay, so I created a group, and what it did, here's a folder. It put all of these parts into the folder, so now it acts as one big image, okay, as I'm building my robot. So I can still add other parts. Okay, I'm getting to the point where I want to start putting maybe eyes on the robot. So I can tuck it in something like that. I'm going to make it, I don't know, white in the center. The outside is going to, the stroke of this is going to be black, and it's going to be a small stroke. It doesn't have to be a really thick line. I'm going to copy and paste it, drop it over on this side. All right, and all of these other parts, you see, oh, they're all in the folder, sorry. Okay, I'm getting there. I'm going to put these eyebrows above the eye. Okay, so they're like hanging over the top of them. I kind of like how that is looking. And I might mess around with the shadow. It's just kind of fine tuning. And let me try something. I don't know if this is going to work. Somewhere in here there should be like a pencil tool. Let's see, brushes. I'm going to try this. And I'm going to draw. Alright. And I don't know if this is going to work, folks, so bear with me. Alright, I want to be able to select that. Okay, so I selected it, and I can squinch it or move it around. And right now there's no fill color, right? But when I drew that with the brush, I came all the way back to where I was. So I'm going to drop in a fill color, and oh, the inside of the mouth is going to be, I don't know, kind of red. And I'm going to fit it into this space, and that stroke is a little much, really, so I'm going to drop it down to, well, not 20. I'm going to make it like 2. That works much better. Okay, so now I've got kind of a picture working all together. I've got a bunch of these tools, and some of these we haven't gotten yet. We can flip it horizontal. I can flip it vertical. And that, I think, is all I want to do right now. I think that's plenty. Basically, we went through shapes. We went along the top portion of this, trying different parts out. We moved the pieces around. We messed around with some of the layers, copying, pasting, deleting, undo, redo. Okay, so the last thing I want to show you is how to save this, how to download it. Okay, so you don't have to do this whole thing again. And it's right up here under download. Okay, and we're always going to download as, for our purposes, an SVG. Okay, if you choose PDF or PNG, it's going to squish all those pieces together, and we can't really work with it again. So we want SVG, okay, vector graphic there, and we hit convert. And by doing this, those of you that are at school and we can use Adobe Illustrator at times, will be able to move files from Cleverbrush into Illustrator, work on them, save them, and then we'll be able to move them to Cleverbrush as well. So, so there's the download file. There's my little guy there. All right, and let me just see where it goes to. And it's still catching up with me. All right. There you go. Okay. Now it depends on what system you're working on. On the Mac here, it's dropping it over here. You might have to go to a downloads folder, but just remember the name of it in case you have to search. And it automatically names it for you, some kind of random number. So this is T3MJDDV5H. .svg. So that random number, when you are done, I would suggest naming it your last name robot. Okay, so that is it for today, folks, and it gives you at least a starter and to play with it, and then we're going to get into more advanced stuff within the next 2 weeks. Thanks.